Hey!
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 What's good, Heyyyy Nation?
As you can see by the title of this video, today
we are going to be talking about how Lord Corey has impacted us in general. But before that, love my girl. Smile for the camera. Smile for Heyyyy Nation. Yes, sis. Look at me. Don't look at me. Look at me. But yeah, anyway, like we said, today's topic, it's all about Lord Corey and how he, she, or it has impacted our lives so far.
last year this time we wanted to do this video because we're going on vacation next week. So in South Korea, our job is very generous when it comes to vacation. We have a whole month of vacation, and last year we went to
Malaysia, went to Singapore and Philippines, all in 1 month.
Yeah, so we did 10 days, and it was really great. Corona had already started,
But like it wasn't as bad as what it is right now. I mean, like we'd read about like a few cases with like there'd be 3 in like the Philippines, so like 2 in Singapore, 5 in Malaysia, right? But you could still travel, and there was no need to quarantine for like 2 weeks.
It just started, so it wasn't scary, but we didn't fully enjoy those countries because of it, but it was fun. If you want to watch those videos, I'll link them up somewhere up here because they're in my channel before we started the couples channel. It was fun, but we feel like we would go back again post
Lord Corey,
Miss Rona, the vid, whatever you want to call it,
you know. But now it's like it's a whole different ball game because we can't travel to like other countries and stuff. We can still travel within Korea, but there's that bit of fear that like we both have, because like you want to experience like different things when you're like in a foreign country, more so in Asia where like literally everybody's next door, you know. So like it's also quite affordable to like go to Japan, go to China, go to Thailand, go wherever in Asia. And like now all of that out the window.
Yeah, so we don't know, we don't have plans for this vacation, and Tendo said we can still travel within Korea, but I'm scared. I have asthma and I don't want to risk, you know, like I feel like I can always travel when this thing is over. There's
I'll
no
breathe
need.
for you.
Really? So yeah, so I don't want to risk it personally. So we're talking about it and thinking, so I came to Korea 2019, Tendo came 2019,
I came 9 months later,
after me,
a whole child later.
and then I was supposed to go home and visit in January, but then Tendo just came in November, so we're like, maybe they don't even miss you yet. Let's travel and then we'll go home this year. So this year the plan was to go home. I haven't been home in 2 years, so this is my 3rd year. But I cannot go home because of COVID, and this time we really wanted to go home, so it's sad and we're not okay. Like asiko right. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know how to. That's a sacrifice I think most people are feeling that work abroad, not being able to go home. Yes, we don't go home every month, but we knew like, oh, I'm gonna go home this
at some
month.
point,
yeah,
you know.
So that opportunity is taken away because of this, you know, this pandemic. And even when we think in August we only have 10 days vacation, so we can't even go home because you have to come back and quarantine for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, so it's basically a waste. And on top of that,
it's impossible.
You don't even have the days to do all of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, when are we actually gonna get to go home? Because now we don't know when Lord Corey is gonna be like, alright guys, I'm done. It's been real. I'm out, you know. So like it's
Yeah.
just one of those uncertainties that like everybody in the world probably has, you know what I'm saying? And now it's just a matter of learning how to deal with everything and try to make the best out of everything, you know?
When you're looking at things, it just looks like honestly we might get to go home or come visit next year this time. So another year. And it wasn't in our plans, you know. We didn't plan to be away from home for 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Maybe like a year and then like visit
every year.
You know what I'm saying? Like 1 year, go home. The next year, travel.
The next year, go home.
So forth and so forth. But yeah, I go bad.
Go bad.
Wow.
Wow. So, but generally comparing the coronavirus cases, Korea is better. You know, when we have Jeju, we live on the island. Jeju Island was on 0 for the longest time, and we'd go for 2 months, né?
Yeah,
without any cases. But then the second wave, we have almost 400. I want to say 500 now, 400 and something.
So like that's literally from like the first wave that happened in 2020. So like from 2020 up until this point, it's roughly in the 400s, right? On Jeju Island. Okay, not Korea as a whole, but Jeju. If you look at mainland, with mainland they have close to like 10 times more than what we have here on Jeju. Like I think the number is in the 80,000s since last year, right? But then if you look back home in South Africa,
it's past 1 million. And even if you check, like in Korea, when there's like 500 cases reported in one day, they panicking.
Everything gets shut down.
Yeah, everything is like yo, and I'm like yo. In South Africa, they were recording 20,000, 17,000 cases a day. Like,
wear a mask.
I don't even know. Just wear a mask,
wear a mask,
guys. Wash your hands and just follow the rules. Honestly, it's not that difficult. Oh, and one thing that we've noticed is that somehow South Africans are dying from this thing more than Asians. I don't know why. It must be the food or whatever, but in general, since Corona started in Korea, they just passed 1,000. There's not even more than 2,000 people who have died from this virus, and in South Africa it's over 30k.
But I also think maybe that's also like attributed to the whole case. If you also want to compare the medical services in Korea versus South Africa, in my opinion, I think that Korea is better equipped than what we are back home.
So also working in Korea has its advantages. We got a text, not a text. The government announced that foreigners are going to be receiving the vaccine for free.
Mahala.
We are the foreigners of Korea. So that's exciting, and we heard that, but this is not official, it's just a rumor saying teachers are
the second group.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna like receive it.
Also having the vaccine, if we get the vaccine in time or whenever, then hopefully we can still come home next year, because that's also not a guarantee. The pandemic might have not ended by next year, so there is a chance though, if you have vaccines, that we kind of protected. We'd still have to follow the procedures and be careful, but at least we, you know, protected.
Bulletproof.
So there's that chance. Unfortunately, it's not now. We wish the vaccine came sooner so that we could go home now, but that's not happening. And we also want to touch base on the struggles we've had living abroad. Mostly I'd say being away from home has its difficulties. For me, mostly like my friends have lost their parents in the last year or in the beginning of this year. My grandfather is ill, very sick, and I'd like to see him, and that's not possible. So that's also difficult, just hearing that someone is, you know, someone's health is declining and there's nothing you can do, you know. So it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, because I can somewhat relate to her, because around about like last year in April, I lost my grandmother. It wasn't COVID related, but for the fact that this was somebody who literally like helped raise me and stuff. I couldn't actually be there in those final moments. I couldn't go to the funeral and stuff, and that really like had this huge impact on me where I couldn't deal, right? And I know like for my parents, it was kind of like hard for them to like even like ask me to like write something for the funeral, but I felt like I needed that bit of closure to be like, listen, can I please just write something, and one of you, could you please read it at the funeral? You know, because like that was just my way of saying goodbye. And on top of that, I also just asked them like, yo, just video call me, so that even though like I'm not there physically, I can be like somewhat there virtually, just to have that piece of closure of just saying like, yo, goodbye, you know. And well, the other thing is, like she said, like, you know, people close to you who are losing people like close to them as well, and at the same time you don't really know how to comfort them, you know, like you can't be there physically, you don't know what to say, because like words can only go so far.
Yeah, and I mean, even going to someone's house, you know, that would have been a better gesture than just being like, hey, sending a text. So that's even difficult for us to like comfort our friends. And like Tinder is saying, I actually didn't even notice how important funerals were until moving here. There's a sense of closure that you get, but for us, because we went there, when you hear someone passed on, you can't really see it. It feels like they're still there, but you heard that they're gone, but you weren't there. It's a weird concept. Like, I can't imagine myself going to someone's house and like, oh, this person passed on, and me believing it. It will just seem like ngatupumile, like yabuya. So that's difficult. That's really difficult. And if you are wanting to move to South Korea, those are things you should definitely consider, that you might have to miss funerals, you might have to miss weddings, you might have to miss important events.
Yeah, like big celebrations that might come around, negative or positive.
Yeah, and before it would be due to our vacation days, you can't only like go home on a weekend and come back. You need to apply for leave days and stuff like that. And also South Africa is 18 hours away, so there's no way you can make it in and out unless you're just going to be in South Africa for 2 hours and come back. So we can't do weekends. But you know, it's just, I guess it comes with the job. It's just the difficulties that just come.
You soldier on.
And the last question we wanted to ask each other was, given all that we've said, the negatives of being in Korea during this pandemic, would you rather experience this pandemic in South Korea as we are right now, or would you rather be home during this difficult time?
I think I'd rather be here in South Korea, right? And specifically on Jeju Island. Okay? Because I feel like here people are more responsible, in the sense of like, if the government says, yo, wear a mask, curfew is this time, people straight up listen. They don't second guess it.
I mean, I don't remember personally seeing someone without a mask.
Yeah.
Like seeing someone, yeah, restaurants, cool, but they put them on.
Okay, no, I actually have. But like, there's usually people like, he's smoking outside.
Yeah, but I mean like just like generally, like in a bus.
I have. Okay, in a bus. You're not allowed to though, in a bus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they, in South Africa, apparently in the taxis, people are not wearing masks. Like in Korea, that's not something you see.
Wow, guys. No, like I legit didn't know that part about like the taxis and buses. I just legit, in my mind, I just thought like fine, because like the government said like, yo, no mask, no taxi, no bus.
And never obeka la abantu base South Africa ma mask. Ay, i-mask yavala. Wow.
But like, yeah, I'd still rather be here in Korea, right? Even though I do miss a whole lot of things back home. But at the same time, I feel like if I was home and like the moment level 5 was like cancelled and I was out in the street and stuff, like drinking, clubbing with my friends, no lie, it's not that. So like, yeah, I think I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here. Okay, and not just for the free vaccine and stuff, but I'd rather be here. And like, what about you?
Same, because
you Need a moment?
No, I'd rather be here. Even though everything has happened, I always wonder, would I be wearing a mask back home? Like seeing my friends not wearing masks, I probably would also be, you know, around family. Angazi. I don't think. But for me, the most important thing of what I learned about this pandemic is that a lot of people lost their jobs, at least back home, and I wasn't affected at all. In fact, we got, you know, a salary increase. So
like job security this time.
Yeah, job security.
It's on 100, man. It's on 100.
Superb. So I guess you have to sacrifice some things during these times. But yeah, thank you for joining us in this chit chat about work. Quite sad actually. But yeah,
I'm great, by the way.
Probably we'll look back at this. You're great, really.
I feel amazing.
We'll probably look back at this and remember what we're feeling at this moment, and yeah,
I guess just like move on and like learn from it and appreciate the fact that we actually made it through this pandemic.
Yeah, shout out to God, man. Like, I didn't get COVID the whole year.
Not even flu, bruh.
Nothing.
Not even flu. And I used to get flu every year. Look now. Nothing. But like, yeah, thank you guys for watching. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We will see you next time.
Peace.